I was 10 years old and my family was living in a neighborhood that was full of kids. So I had the blessing of being able to constantly be playing games with them. We'd play baseball and football and wiffle ball and games that we made up. And no matter where I was playing, no matter how far away, I always knew when it was time to come home because of my dad's whistle. My dad had a very distinct whistle that could carry all the way across the neighborhood. And I remember on one particular evening I was playing kickball across the neighborhood and I heard that very familiar whistle. And so I knew it was time to go home. And as always, I said my goodbyes and immediately took off running home, literally. As I was running, I had the urge to look down at my feet and I became fascinated and entranced by them. Looking straight down at my feet with the sidewalk whizzing by underneath them made me feel like I was super fast. And all I could think about was how I was running faster than I ever had before, and I wondered if I could run so fast that I might even start flying. Unfortunately for me, I may have been fast, but I wasn't all that bright in that moment. I was so caught up in myself that I didn't see much of what was going on around me. Didn't see the good or the bad, the harmless or the dangerous. Things were going great, and I thought I'd be home in a flash. And then it happened. Everything went black, and the next thing I knew, I was on the ground looking up into the blue sky. As I lay there dazed and confused, I was quickly surrounded by a group of concerned adults who informed me that I had run into a bicycle they had parked in the middle of the sidewalk. Though they were apologetic, they couldn't understand how I couldn't have seen the bike. So I was more than slightly embarrassed as I fumbled for an explanation that wouldn't make me sound really stupid. But because of my fascination with my feet, at the expense of my surroundings, I missed an entire summer of swimming, baseball, and activity with my friends. All because I was looking inward. I learned a valuable lesson that day. And it's a lesson that I think many churches would be wise to heed. See, when we become so inwardly focused, one of the greatest dangers is that we miss opportunities that God places in our path to be about His kingdom work. I'm not going to deny that it's fascinating to look at your feet, but it's also very misleading. See, we think we're going faster than we are. We think that we're super whatever, but are we really? Is it healthy for us to become so inwardly focused that we don't see anything that's going on around us? Jesus addressed this very issue with His disciples in the book of Matthew chapter 9. He had been traveling extensively from cities to villages, and actually what it says in the passage is that He was teaching. He was healing every disease and affliction, and He was proclaiming the gospel. But as He looked out over the crowds, it says He had compassion on them as He saw them, because He saw them as harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. And I would guess that with tears in His eyes, as He's looking out over those crowds, He said to His disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into His harvest." Where are we looking? Do we see our feet or the fields? I personally never want to be fascinated by my feet again. Instead, I want to have the eyes, the heart, and the compassion of Jesus as I look out and see the harassed and helpless sheep without a shepherd all around us. How about you?